中文好牛啊！我靠，你中文好厉害啊！
我跟你说，我如果不看你的脸啊，我光听你的声音啊，我就以为你是一个北京人。
哇，你突然是愿意跟我讲话，我的天呐！所以我跟你讲英语的时候你不愿意，但是我跟你讲中文没问题。
Sorry, I don't speak English.
哦，没事，听不懂是吧？哦，有道理，有道理。这是为什么你是那么外向，那么……但是我可以问你一个问题，为什么你英语讲的那么好吗？我感觉你口音和口语这两个方面很强。
你是中国人吗？
是的吧？开玩笑，开玩笑，被你发现。你好，很感谢认识你。问题就是说，你会讲韩语吗？或者你是中国人是吧？为什么你说我很棒？也就是我感觉咱俩是一样的吧？就是你在这儿来练习一下你的口语。
I don't speak English.
哦，没事，我会讲中文。你是不是？
哎呦我操！
什么？
哎呦我操！你会中文呐？
哦，哇，厉害呀，厉害！
啊，谢谢。
发音真的很标准。
What the fuck？ 哦，我操！你为什么会中文啊？
我操！
对你的专业是。
你的中文好。Oh my god, your accent is fucking good！
我操，你中文为啥那么好？
我去，会说中文。
怎么了？
中文。
What the fuck, bro？
郑州，哇塞，你说话太中国了，好中国呀！
哇塞，你好地
道，你说的中文好地道。
你想说的是正在拖延吗？拖延的意思。
我靠，你干嘛？你吓我一跳！
我靠，兄弟，你中文讲太好了。
哎，你中文说的很好，你来中国多久了？
为什么你的发音那么标准呢？你的发音真的非常标准。
你的中国话是和哪儿的人学的？这么流利？
你的语言天赋很厉害啊！中国话说这么，我碰到过很多外国人，他们说中文的话，就是明显感觉得出来，
他们就会一点点是吧？
不出来。
啊，我懂你意思。
中文真的很好，你还有口音，
你中文比你会的还好。
哦，没有，给我讲快。
No way, no fucking way！
你不是一点点，大哥，你都没有口音。
大哥，你都没有口音，笑死我了，谢谢。
你一点口音都没有好吗？因为一些老外他说中文，他就是老外说中文。
像你这么好的中文是第一个，我在这上面遇到第一个。
Hey, I'm Spencer. If you've ever studied a language for months, maybe years, and you still can't follow a real conversation or say what you actually mean, I need you to hear this first. It's not your fault, and you are not bad at languages. You were just handed the wrong method. I'm going to walk you through the exact system I used to go from years of French in school that left me struggling to feel confident to order a coffee to holding real, joke-cracking conversations in Mandarin in 182 days. Not years, 182 days. And I did it while running a mid-8-figure company, waking up at 1 a.m. to protect my study time with 0 tutors, 0 classrooms, and 0 trips to China. And since then, I've watched students do the same thing in their target language. 61 days to conversational Italian, a few hundred hours to watching native Japanese shows with the subtitles turned off, 3 months to following native Brazilian Portuguese at full normal speed. Same system, different people, different languages, and you are going to hear from all of them. So here's what we're going to do today. 2 things. First, I'm going to draw you the entire map of how fluency actually happens, start to finish, so you can actually see where you are and what the next step is. And second, I'm going to run you through a diagnostic, a kind of x-ray, so that by the end of this video, you'll know the 1 or 2 things that are actually keeping you stuck right now. So grab a pen and let's go. This right here is the staircase to fluency, and almost nobody has shown you the entire thing. That, more than anything else, is why people quit. They quit because they run out of future. They can't see where they are and they can't see the top, so the first hard week, they bail. And look, this whole map is free right here. But if at some point you decide that you'd just rather have us build it for you, then the move here is simple. Head to my Instagram, the link's below, and send me the secret word sushi so that I know we had this little conversation. I'll send back the doc that shows exactly how we would set it all up for you. But hold that thought and I'll remind you at the end, because for now, just draw along with me. So let me give you the whole staircase. At the bottom is 0. You understand nothing. Everyone starts here, including me, so if that's you right now, good. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. The first real stretch is what I call the silent phase. This is where you are loading your weapon. You're pouring in hours of input, building a model of the language in your head before you ever force yourself to speak. And somewhere in here is the magic moment, when real speech from real people at real speed starts to make sense. Not because you are frantically translating in your head, but because your brain has finally heard enough that it just clicks. For most people, this whole phase is somewhere in the range of 400 to 600 hours of input. Now, that's a guideline, not a law, but that's the neighborhood. And of course, it depends on the language and it can run a little longer or a little shorter. Then comes the output unlock. Around the 3-month mark, for a lot of my students, the language just starts to overflow. You fill your ears, it overflows into your brain, and eventually it overflows out of your mouth. Your listening ceiling becomes your speaking floor. And then you reach the rung that I actually like to aim for with students: conversational fluency. For a Romance language with real daily hours, that lands around the 200-day mark, and that is the target that I specifically like to point people at. I want to be specific about what conversational fluency means because it's not a certificate and it's not a test score. It means 3 things. 1, you understand content made for native speakers, the real stuff, not watered down material made for learners. 2, you are understood by natives using 0 English. You could get dropped anywhere in the country where your target language is spoken and find your way around without a single translation app. And 3, my favorite, consuming the language stops feeling like work. Putting on a show in your target language feels like you're kicking off your shoes at the end of a long day. Now, notice what is not on this list. Passing an exam, perfect reading and writing. Reading sometimes comes along for the ride, but it was never the goal. The goal breaks down to understanding real people and being understood by them. You watch the shows, you take the meetings, you fall in love, you argue, you live, all of it in the language. And the staircase keeps going above that into advanced near native mastery, but conversational fluency is the summit as far as I'm concerned, the place where the language truly becomes yours. Now, here's the part I want you to really get. Every single one of these rungs is just a number of hours. That's it. Fluency is not a talent you were born with or without. It's a staircase made of hours. And here's the freeing part. Once you can see your hours, the day you'll hit conversational stops being a someday and becomes a date that you can actually count towards based on the hours that you put in. So wherever you are on the staircase right now, your next step is knowable. You're not lost. You just hadn't been shown the whole map. Now, before I go further, I want to be honest with you about something. This was never really about the language. I know it feels like it's about verb tables and vocabulary lists. It isn't. It's about who you get to become and who you get to reach. Let me show you what I mean. The first time I spoke Mandarin in front of my wife's parents, people that I had never really been able to talk to, they froze. They could not believe it was me. That one moment was worth more than every single hour that I put in. I've got a student, Andre, who went from 0 to proposing to his partner in Italian in front of her entire family in 61 days. Sit with that. 61 days, and he's giving the most important speech of his life in a language he couldn't say hello in 2 months earlier.
And this was my whole motivation for learning Italian, that I could propose to now fiance at the time girlfriend in Italian, in her target language, in front of her family. So 61 days from when I started until I proposed. Certo. Questo corso sembra troppo bello per essere vero, lo so, anch'io ho pensato la stessa cosa, ma quando ci guardi bene capisci che funziona proprio come il tuo cervello impara. E questo sistema semplicemente ti aiuta ad apprendere nel modo più naturale per te. Quindi sì, può imparare tantissimo, velocemente, e può anche essere divertente. Quindi io lo consiglio davvero, su questo non si piove.
I've got another student, Gus, who sat down at a Sunday dinner with around 10 family members who didn't speak a word of English and told stories and cracked jokes with them for 4 hours straight. He told me it was one of the best experiences of his entire life.
Yeah, I mean, I'm having a full-blown 4-hour dinner table conversation. I'm cracking jokes, I'm telling stories, which is just like so different, you know? And then saying the thing and like the whole table erupts in laughter is like, there's literally nothing better than that. So
that right there, that's the prize. Fluency is just the key. What it actually unlocks is belonging and confidence and the freedom to walk into a room that you used to be locked out of. So when this work gets hard, and it will, that picture is what we're really doing it for. Keep it in your head. So if fluency is just a staircase made of hours, why is almost everyone stuck at the bottom step? Why do people study for years and get nowhere? There are exactly 3 reasons, 3 problems. And I would bet money that at least one of them is happening to you right now. Problem 1 is an input problem. You are not getting enough real, understandable, focused input. Apps, textbooks, 15 minutes a day on your phone, they give you the feeling of progress without the volume that actually rewires your brain. You're just nibbling when you should be eating. Problem 2 is a sequence problem. You're doing the right things in the wrong order. You're trying to speak before your brain has absorbed anything, and you're drilling grammar rules like you're cramming for a test when grammar is meant to be absorbed, not memorized. You can't pour out of a cup that you've never filled. Problem 3 is a measurement problem. You have no real idea whether you're making progress, so you grade yourself by how you feel, and feelings lie. The day it feels slow, you decide it isn't working, and you quit, usually right before the good part. Not enough input, the wrong order, no way to measure. That is the entire reason that you are stuck. And I'm going to say it one more time clearly. This is not actually a you problem. This is a method problem. Every one of those is fixable, and I'm about to show you exactly how. Quick pause for a second because I know some of you already get it. Some of you are nodding along right now, you can see the whole path, and you just want a hand actually putting it into action. If that's you, if you love where this is headed and you just want help implementing it, here's all you need to do. Head over to my Instagram, the link's right below this video, and send me the word sushi. That's it. I'll send you back the exact plan my students follow laid out in one place so you can see if having us help you is the right fit. No pressure either way, just send me sushi and I'll get it back to you. And for everyone else, stay with me because I'm about to hand you the x-ray and I think it's going to show you something you weren't expecting. Okay, here's the x-ray. I'm going to walk you through my entire system one piece at a time. 8 pieces in total, and for each one, I'll do 3 things. I'll tell you what it is and why it matters. I'll show you a real student who got it right so you can see it actually working. And then I'm going to ask you to score yourself kind of like a traffic light. Green means I've got this is a strength. Yellow means it's okay, it could be sharper. And red means this is broken and it's costing me right now. So grab that pen. Write the numbers 1 through 8 down the side of a page. By the end of this, you'll have a map of your own learning and you're going to see the 1 or 2 reds that are the actual reason you can't understand native speech in your target language. This is the most useful 10 minutes you'll spend on your language all year, so let's run it. The first 3 are all about input, getting fuel into the engine. 1. Volume. Here's the truth that nobody's selling you a 15-minute-a-day app wants you to hear. 15 minutes a day is a lie. Not because it's doing literally nothing, but because it does so little that slowly you quit long before the language ever gets fun. Fluency is hours times days. So the fastest and honestly the easiest way to go through this is to sprint. Pour in real hours for one focused season, then coast for the next 60 years. High intensity is actually the lazy way because you're not dragging the misery out over a decade. Discomfort early, comfort forever. The proof on this one is me. I averaged 3 to 4 hours a day, every day, and I did not even track everything I did, so it was probably more. I hit conversational Mandarin in 182 days while running a company. I did not have more time than you. I had a season and I attacked it. Score yourself. Are you getting real daily hours into this, or are you trickling 15 minutes and hoping? Green, yellow, red. Write it down. Number 2, the right level. Input only works if you understand most of it. The sweet spot is somewhere around 30 to 50% comprehension. If you understand none of it, it's just noise, you're not learning, you're suffering. If you understand all of it, you've already outgrown it. You want content that's a stretch but not a wall, and your brain fills in the rest. That's the whole secret. You don't study the language. You understand messages in the language, and the learning happens as a side effect. The proof is my student, Aria. She spent 3.5 years grinding Japanese textbooks and still couldn't actually talk about any of her own life. She switched to 200 hours of the right level listening, and when she got back on the phone with her tutor, the jump was obvious. She told me she caught herself watching a Japanese show and didn't realize for a full 3 minutes that the subtitles hadn't even loaded. She was just understanding it. Score yourself. Is your input at the right level a comfortable stretch? Or are you bouncing between baby content and stuff that is way over your head? Green, yellow, red.
And I watched a full 3 minutes of this show before I realized there were no subtitles. So before I heard something where I was like, oh, well, I'll just read it. And it's like, no, actually, there's nothing here to read. So I knew immediately that like that 3 minutes of just absorbing the Japanese was down to fluency formula. Forcing myself out of my comfort zone of Japanese captions and regimented study material, like enabled me to enjoy and understand the language organically. when I started Fluency Formula, I canceled all my speaking sessions with my tutor and did nothing but that active listening for 200 hours. And when I got back on the phone, I was, explained to my tutor what I had done, explained the program, and said, I'm not really sure if my speaking will have improved from all this listening. And she jumped like right in. She was like, oh no, like you've definitely gotten better. I can hear a difference in, the way that you speak, and that you can understand me better.
3. Active over passive. There are two kinds of input and they are not equal. Active input is when you are genuinely locked in, listening hard. Passive input is the podcast playing while you wash the dishes. Passive is a nice bonus, don't get me wrong. It stacks a few extra hours, but it's not the main event. Your commute can be a classroom, sure, but only after you've done the real, focused work. Most people have this entirely backwards. They half listen to a podcast they barely follow and call it studying. Lead with active hours. The proof of this one is my student, Steve. 3 months in, he went from not being able to even follow a slowed down learner piece of content to following native Brazilian Portuguese at full normal speed. Same person, a few months apart. Score it. Is most of your input active and focused, or mostly background noise you're barely catching? Green, yellow, red.
And then recently I've been listening to native content made for Brazilians, and it's I could understand a whole lot of that, and it's very fast, and it's it's kind of amazing. I would say it definitely feels good once you start understanding things. You're on top of the world for sure, and you want more. It's like a drug.
Okay, that's the input bucket. Volume, the right level, and active over passive. Fix those 3 and you stop spinning your wheels and you start actually understanding people. That alone changes everything. Now let's talk about sequence, because this is where most people are quietly sabotaging themselves. 4, the right words first. Here's something kind of wild. In any language, about 1,000 to 1,500 words make up roughly 80% of everything people actually say. 80%. So if you learn vocabulary in a smart order, the most frequent words first, you punch way above your weight almost immediately. And this is why I'm so obsessed with frequency flashcards. Flashcards create frequency, immersion creates context, and when you put those two together, they're basically unstoppable. Most people learn random words from a textbook chapter about the post office. Learn the words people actually use in the order that they actually use them. The proof is Gus again, the Sunday dinner guy. A few hundred hours in, he could sit at that table and actually be himself, get his personality across because he'd built the core of the language on purpose instead of by accident. Score it. Are you building the high-frequency core of your language on purpose? Or are you collecting random words and hoping? Green, yellow, red.
What is it, 300 hours in or something like that? And I'm developing the relationships that I want to be able to develop, and I'm able to get my personality across.
5, the silent phase. This is the one almost everyone gets wrong because the internet told them to speak from day 1. Here's the problem with that advice. You cannot produce what your brain has not absorbed. If you force yourself to speak before you've put in the input, you do 2 bad things. You build anxiety because it's painful and you feel stupid. And worse, you fossilize errors. You bake in broken pronunciation and grammar that are genuinely hard to unlearn later. The silent phase is not you being lazy or passive. It's you loading the weapon. Build the model first, then fire. The proof is Andre again, the one who proposed in Italian. Before he found this, he did 2 months of conjugation drills and got nowhere. Then he did 2 months of input the right way, and it took him all the way to fluency. Same person, same brain, completely different result, purely from doing it in the right order. Score it. Are you respecting the silent phase and letting input lead, or are you forcing it out too early and feeling anxious about it? Green, yellow, red.
It works with the way the brain works. I did 2 months of conjugations, 2 months of fluency formula. One took me nowhere, the other one took me to fluency, the exact same amount of time. And so the way you've designed this system, it's you hacked, what do babies do to learn languages? And then you pump that full of steroids so that we do that faster.
6, grammar. Put the textbook down. I'm serious. Grammar is not something you study first and then use. Grammar is something you absorb by hearing it correctly thousands of times until the wrong version simply sounds wrong to your ear. You did not learn native grammar from a table of rules. You learned it from an entire childhood of input. It's the same machine here. Study a rule if you're genuinely curious, that's fine, but grammar is a byproduct of acquisition, not a prerequisite for it. The proof is my student Arthur, a basketball coach. Around 80 hours in, with zero grammar drilling, and he's already following his content so well, he's catching the jokes, and the words have started showing up out in the real world, like at a Mexican spot that was near his daughter's college. His exact words to me when a friend asked him how to start were, "Burn the textbooks. Score it." Are you absorbing grammar through input or stuck drilling rules that never show up when you actually need them to speak? Green, yellow, red.
Man, I know it almost sounds too easy, but like, man, it works. Like you said, the brain is, that's what the brain needs. It needs the visual and the, the audio and all that, not the sitting there reading out of a book. So I tell them to, burn his textbooks.
That's the sequence bucket. The right words, the silent phase, and grammar as a byproduct. Do these in the right order and the whole thing stops feeling like shoving a boulder up a hill. Now, the last bucket, and this is the one that decides whether you actually finish. These last two are about measurement, making your progress visible so that you don't quit this time. 7, track hours, not feelings. Here's the quiet killer of language learning. Your progress is invisible to your feelings. Some of your best learning days will feel like absolutely nothing is happening. So if you grade yourself by vibes, you will eventually hit a slow feeling week, decide it isn't working, and quit, usually right before a breakthrough. The fix is almost stupidly simple. Track your hours, track your data. When you can see that you've logged 140 hours, you don't need to feel fluent to know that you're on track. The math tells you. This is exactly what our app does. It logs your input, it counts your streaks, and it protects your fluency date so that you and I are both looking at the same truth in the same place. The proof of this is my student Chris, 52 years old, who told me straight up that this was his last shot before he gave up on languages for good. He kept showing up on the days that felt like nothing was happening, he didn't quit, and he ended up using his Mandarin on the ground in Beijing with locals lighting up when he spoke. 52 years old, last shot. It worked because he stopped quitting on the bad feeling days. Score it. Can you see your progress in actual numbers? Or are you flying blind and grading yourself by how you feel and vibes? Green, yellow, red.
I think the one thing that I found that was the people were so excited, even though my Mandarin's very basic and I can say little words, say little sentences, they still seemed very engaging, that they kind of like it. So it gave me that little bit of a reward that, I'm on the right path of making my goal and achieving that goal and that dream that I've always wanted to learn a second language and stuff like that. So like at the end of the day, I'm a 52-year-old guy, lots of life experiences. And I got to say, this program to me, it spoke to my heart right off the get-go. And I knew that this is the way, that's the direction for me to actually reach my goal. So just jump in both feet, jump in the deep end and go for it.
8, identity. This one sounds soft, but it might be the most important. You have to stop thinking of yourself as a student of the language and start acting like a speaker of it. A student is always preparing, always not ready yet. But a speaker just speaks, badly at first, and gets better. The identity comes first, the fluency follows it. And here's the freeing part. You do not need a perfect system. The mediocre system that you actually do beats the perfect system that you don't. Showing up beats planning every single time. The proof is my student Lotta. She used to get maybe a hello and a goodbye out of her Korean tutor sessions. That was the whole conversation, even after a year of grammar study. Now she runs the entire session in Korean with the same teacher. Nothing changed about her talent. What changed is that she started showing up as a Korean speaker instead of a forever student. By the way, Andre, who I mentioned, has now done this thing twice in 2 completely different languages, which tells you it is the method that's portable, not some special gift that he has. Score it. Are you showing up consistently as a speaker, or waiting until you feel ready, which is a day that never actually comes? Green, yellow, red. That's number 8.
I still use the same Korean teacher as when I only studied grammar, but now we only do conversation. And in the past, that was impossible. We said hello and goodbye in the whole 50-minute lesson. I couldn't say more than that in Korean, even though I already had lessons with him since like a year, with studying so many things, and I knew some stuff already, but I just couldn't remember them as well. So now we just have fully Korean lessons, just complete Korean.
All right, pens down. Look at your list. You've got some greens, hopefully. You've got some yellows, and you've probably got 1 or 2 little reds that stung when you wrote them down. I want you to circle the reds. Those reds, that is it. That is your constraint. That is the actual specific reason you can study every day and still not understand native speech. It was never that you're bad at languages. It's that 1 or 2 of these 8 pieces are broken, and they've been quietly capping everything else that you do. And here's what I want you to see. Behind every one of these 8 pieces is a part of the system that I want to install for you. If your red is volume or the right level, that's the content vault. Native level input sorted by level so you never waste another hour hunting for something to watch. If it's the words, that's the frequency deck built into the app. If it's the silent phase or when to start speaking, that's the guided journey that tells you exactly when you're ready around day 90, not before. If it's measurement, that's the app tracking your hours and protecting your date. And underneath all of it is a live coaching call every week, a small squad of people doing this right alongside you, and a guarantee. You follow the system, you get fluent, or you get your money back. We do not sell you information. You just got the information, the whole method, for free in this video. What we offer is the implementation, the speed, the accountability, and the clarity that what you're doing is the right things in the right order. We take these 8 pieces and we install them for you so that you stop guessing and start climbing. So here's what to do now. If you want the whole system, the app, the vault, the deck, the coaching, the squad, the guarantee, all of it, go to Instagram and send me a direct message with the word sushi. I'll send you a simple plan that lays out exactly how it works and what it costs. No sales call, no funnel, no pressure, just the plan. You read it and decide for yourself. If it's for you, you'll know exactly what to do. And if it's not, genuinely, no hard feelings. And look, I'll be straight with you because I would genuinely rather be honest with you than have you join for the wrong reasons. This is not for everyone. If you're looking for a 30-day magic hack, this isn't it. A Romance language takes around 200 days of real input, and I'm not going to lie to you about that. If you're not willing to protect real daily time, even 30 minutes, this will not work for you, and that's completely okay. But if you are done trickling, done grinding textbooks that lead nowhere, and you're actually ready to understand the people you've been trying to talk to for years, then this is your year, and I would love to help you do it. Either way, whether you join us or not, take what's on this map and go use it. DM me sushi on Instagram, and I'll see you in your inbox. Talk soon.
我开始学习中文的时候，你觉得我们应该学习北京话吗？
What the hell?
因为我觉得我特别喜欢北京儿化音。